Hi everybody, welcome. I'm just going to be going over some little tidbits or nuggets or whatever today. Nothing over the top, just keep things really simple again. And this is more for beginning traders, people who want to get into the forex market and they want to learn to trade. And what's prompted this video is I have a friend who came to me a couple of months ago. Excuse me, came to me a couple of months ago and he asked me to help him, learn to trade. And the first thing that I did is directed him somewhere else. Okay, I gave him some general ideas. Excuse me, gave him some general ideas, but I directed him to some resources that I believe are reputable resources. Basically, we'll say it like that, because trading is very difficult, and training somebody to trade is even harder. I think that's probably one of the hardest things that you can try and attempt. Because you're dealing with a human being who has their own way of thinking, who likes their own way of doing things, and it's very hard to mold individuals into an idea that you personally have yourself. It's hard to get that person to see your side of things and to trade in your way. We're all individuals and we all like to trade our own personal way. There's general rules of thumb, shorter term trading, longer term trading, fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and all of these are the standards in the industry. Using indicators, no indicators. There's always going to be a for argument and an against argument for everything. I've had arguments. I don't keep an eye on fundamental analysis. I would have no idea where to begin. When a number's released, I look at it and I'm like, well, I don't even know what that is. And I just don't. I'm completely stupid when it comes to stuff like that. And I've got no interest in it because it works for me personally. So you'll have somebody that will say, yeah, but technical analysis doesn't work. For you, it doesn't work. For me, it does work. But then they'll say, yeah, you're a liar. Yeah, you can't trade. Do you know what I mean? And you just say, okay, that's fine. And you just kind of move on because you're never going to win an argument. You're never going to win an argument. And the point I was trying to make was you cannot fit somebody into a mold. You can't say you have to use fundamental analysis, you have to use technical analysis. All you can do is push them in the right direction and say, look, try them both. Do you know what I mean? But the one thing that you absolutely have to understand is that there's no way around the time that this is going to take, right, for you to become a consistently profitable trader. There's no way around it. You cannot jump into this and just make silly amounts of money overnight. You can get lucky, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? I've done that before. Years ago, I've done that. You open an account, 2-3 grand. You open a trade, you're up, 2-3 grand, 4 grand. You're sitting on a 7,000-8,000, pound account or dollar account, and you think you're the bee's knees. You know what I mean? And then the market absolutely smashes you in the face, and just leaves you there. So, we can all get lucky. Anybody can get lucky. You know what I mean? It's like the lottery. You only got to hit it once, right? But that's not consistent. That's just stupid. It doesn't, there's no real plan there. That's just, hit and hope basically. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. That, the whole point of trading, for me personally, for me it's a supplemental income. I don't trade for a living. Okay, I wouldn't want to put that sort of stress on myself because I've done it once before and it was very difficult. And I'm acutely aware of the challenges that can arise when you're actually trading for a living. It's hard, you know what I mean? And this is why I believe that there's a lot of people out there that are very good traders. I'm not going to dispute that. I know a couple of traders that are very good traders. But if you put them in a trading for a living environment, forget it, man. Forget it. So the only way that they can get around that stress and to having to deal with the stress of having to make money, not making money, having to make money to pay their bills, is that they'll start courses and they start teaching people and they start doing other things to pull people in and to make an income while they're trading. And there's nothing wrong with that because I know these personal traders. I know them. I know they're very good traders. There's other people out there that have no idea what they're talking about, but that's not my place to say. All I know is that I like to just keep things really simple and very honest. Trading is fucking hard. All right, that's it. It's hard, man. Very hard. And it takes years to get to a point, right, where you're trading consistently. You can get it's like a language, okay? When you're learning a new language, you can get the general basics of a language within 3 to 6 months, okay, depending on how hard you study, right? And a good way to do that is to start with between 600 and 1,000 of the most, frequently used words within a language. All right. And once you have those down, you start to form sentences with those words, yeah, using the I, we, can, cannot, and so on and so on and so forth. And once you have all of that, you start to formulate sentences, and then you start to look at grammar. Is this correct? Is this grammatically correct, and so on and so on and so forth. But it will take years before you become fluent in that language. Some people can do it a little bit sooner, but it still takes time. Just as you can come to trading, and you can get to a point where you are, proficient in your technical analysis, proficient in understanding fundamental analysis, which way you go. Have a good understanding of indicators if that's what you want to use. Have a good, a good understanding of price action. But the actual application, excuse me, the actual application of this, this newly found skill, has to be put into practice long enough for your experience to kick in, and show you the little nuances, right? Because that's where the money's made. The money's made in the nuances. It's not made, in the overall structure of what you're looking at. It's made in the small nuances, and you can only get to that point, right, through experience, and it takes time, So that's the most important thing, if nothing else within this video, is to understand that trading is hard and it takes time, okay? So I'm going to quickly go into a bunch of stuff. I don't want to, drag this video on too long, but I will just show you a neat little trick, something that I like to do. You just look at the monthly chart. We're just looking at the dollar on this one, right? And we just mark out the high and the low, the previous month's high and low, okay? So whatever current month you're in, we look at the previous high and the previous low, and we mark them off. Nothing else. Don't worry about anything else. That's it, okay? And you drop down to a weekly, and you see where you're at, all right? So here's the previous monthly high. Let's just pop this up there. Okay, so previous monthly high and previous monthly low, all right? And I like to look at where we're at within that range, all right? And what price is doing. So we're looking at the weekly. It's better to look down, better to drop down to a daily. So let's take a look here. So we've got a previous month's high and a previous month's low, all right? So right now we're hovering around the previous month's low, right? But prior to that, let's take a look at this high up here, okay? And how we potentially could have arrived at this, swing point, okay, and subsequent bearish move downwards towards what has now formed a previous monthly low, right? So let's extend, just look, what we'll do it like this, okay? Take this price point here, this previous month's high, and we're going to extend the line out, and we're going to see what's happening, right? So along this line, prior to this swing high, go across and see what's happening, all right? We've had one touch on it here. We've had price go through it and then back through it again. And we've arrived back up to this price point again and then back down, all right? Now, how does this help? This is all looking backwards, okay? How does this help? How is that going to help us arrive at this potential down move? It's not. And that's the whole point, okay? We don't know that this is going to happen. We have no idea. We look at the probabilities, we break things down, we look at the storyline, and we try to arrive at something that makes sense, and then we take action based on that. And it has to be sound, logical, and then we add the risk parameters, and then we take our trade. All right? But we don't know this is going to happen. Nobody knows that. We can arrive at that point, yes, of course, but nobody knows. And I've always said, and other people don't do this, but for me personally, I just don't see the point of trying to catch this. You might get lucky, great, but if I can't catch this, and I know that I don't want to try and catch this kind of turning point here and then subsequent move down, does it matter? Think about what's actually happening here. Let's say you get in here and you start to make some money, all right? And you're just targeting a previous low, nothing else. But it starts to come down, and you're in profit by 111 pips, say, for argument's sake. And then it starts to grind back higher, and now you're only in profit around about 50 pips, right? You're out of the trade, say. Let's say you can't handle being up 112 pips and then seeing it, 50 pips of that profit or 60 pips of that profit erode away while you're in the trade, and then you exit the trade, and then it rips down to the downside, okay? These are the problems that traders don't see, you know what I mean? And when they're looking at these trading videos, which there's plenty out there, I'm not having a go at anybody, I've got no interest in that, but there's plenty of videos out there, training videos and everything else. And a lot of traders don't see that. When they're watching these videos, the person that's talking will say, yes, and it went from here to here. Yeah, that's all great. But what about sitting through this shit? Yeah? Do you know what I mean? Don't just take a point and say, well, there's the move. People sit through this stuff, When you're in it, it's different. It's a completely different ball game. You're in a trade, you're watching your profit and loss go up and down. You're experiencing that. You're actually feeling, you're feeling the price going up and down, and that affects traders. Sometimes they get out early, sometimes they get out late, sometimes they let profits move. They move their stops. There's all of these things that are a problem, okay? You can't just say it went from here to here and there's your move. Like I said, there's all of this shit in between, right? So for me, I want to try and find a place where I can get in where there's the least amount of movement against me based on what's already happened, okay? So the market came down, it came back up to this price point, and then we had a nice turn, okay? Decent candle. Comes back up, stops. The next day, candle goes up, down, but it's an inside day, all right? So it hasn't, okay, it hasn't broken the previous high. It hasn't broken the previous high here or the previous low. This candle stayed within that range. Okay, great. The next day, price tries to go higher, okay, and then ultimately falls, breaks the previous day's low and then the previous day's low, okay, and continues to go lower and breaks this very small swing point here, right? That candle right there is telling me something, okay? We've had a turn, decent bar or candle down, inside day, following day breaks two previous lows and a swing point, okay? That tells me what I need to know. So any move back up into this day's range, okay, for me personally, will be a sell. So I will look at it and I'll wait and I'll wait, and I want to be as far up into that range as I possibly can. I want to, I want a decent price. I don't just want to jump in for the sake of jumping in, because, if the next day opens and it goes up a little bit and you're buying here or selling here, sorry, not buying, selling here, okay, you're talking about potentially, a 50 pip or a 60 pip stop. For me personally, that's a bit too wide. So we wait and we see how price fares. Maybe you get in on this day. It goes all the way up. I'd be happy to get in here. The 35 pip stop, roughly 30 to 35 pip stop. No problem. I'd be more than happy to get in just there. Okay? At that price point, as price is moving up, yeah? I know it seems like, well, that's the high of the day on that particular day. That's fine, whatever. Because, everything's fractal. You go down to a lower time frame, and maybe within this tail, that's where you get in. I've got no problem with getting in. That's a nice, for me personally, that's a nice trade. I might even be in profit on the day and I'll take my scalp. I don't know. But you put your stop at the previous day's high and then you slowly start to get, and I'm not going to claim that I get all of this movement. I don't. I've said many times I'm a scalper. I'm not interested in these big moves. I just can't do it. I can't hold trades. I never have and I never will. I'm happy to go in, take 20, 30 pips, get out and do that maybe 3-4 times a week, and I'm done. I'm done for the week. Throw a losing trade in there as well. And I'm happy with that. That's my trading. Done. That's it. I'm not looking to make millions or to be the next superstar or to try and beat everybody else. I don't care. All I care about is in, take a small profit, out. Done. Move on to the next trade, right? So I'm not going to overdo it, guys. All I'm trying to get at is, a couple of things before I leave. Mark out your previous monthly high and monthly low and just study price. See how price reacts around those price points. Okay, that's it. You don't have to do anything else. Just see how price is around those, those price points. And look at the picture, okay, on the higher time frames, not the lower time frames. Study price on the higher time frames. See what happens around these points and arrive at whatever works for you personally, okay? People can direct you. There were some very, very good trainers out there, very good teachers out there that can direct you in the right direction, but ultimately you're the one that has to do the work. You're the one that has to sit down and go through all of this, to work through it, to put a plan in place, to journal, to write things down, to make sure that you're learning every step of the way, and then to rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat until you find your groove. And once you've found your groove, that's it. You're done. You know what I mean? Ultimately, the goal with trading is to arrive at a point where it's so boring you have no emotions. You're just a robot. You sit down, you do your trading, and you move on. Okay, and we can all. I said that wrong. We can't all do it. There's a lot of people out there that I know that just would make terrible traders. Yeah, the trading isn't for everybody. It's just not. But if you really want to do this and you're dedicated and you want to put the time and the effort in, you can make it work. Absolutely. So I hope this has been informative, guys. Sorry for the rant. And being as we're in 2018 now, New Year, it's the 3rd of January, when I'm doing this recording. So I wish everybody a Happy New Year, and I hope it's a prosperous one for everybody. And if you like the video, please leave a comment below. Whether negative or positive, I will never remove them. If I ever get any comments, I don't know, but I'll never remove them. I'll always leave them on there. I've got no issue. I don't, I'm not trying to, like I said, be some superstar. Just want to throw some stuff out there. Maybe it helps somebody, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. All right, guys. So take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.